What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about or answering a question with an opinion, my opinion on whether or not we have a truck driver shortage in America. But first, before I get to that and answer the question, do we have a truck driver shortage in the United States? I would appreciate it if you're new to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out some more of my other content that'll be recommended at the end of this one, or just click on my channel page and go check out some of my other content. It would be really appreciated. It really helps grow the channel if you like the video, if you subscribe. So thank you for clicking on the video. If you're new, if you're not new, I appreciate you for watching my video and being a subscriber of mine. So let me get right into it. Is there a truck driver shortage? I've been asked this question before, and I'm going to answer it with my opinion, right? Because I think everybody has a different take on this topic. Everybody has a different opinion on this topic. So I'm giving you my opinion based on the current data that we have on the subject. So according to the American Truckers Association, in 2021, we were 80,000 truck drivers short. And that's based on the amount of truck drivers that are in the market and the amount of loads that need to be hauled. Now, that is the data I have, right? I'm going off that data. But when I look at it and I think about it, I basically sit there and say, okay, what companies have a truck driver shortage? Who controls the majority of the freight in this country? Which trucking companies control that, right? Because you have to know that 90% of the freight that is controlled in this industry is controlled by the top 10% of trucking companies. So the mega carriers control 90% of the freight that's out there, right? Even though 90% of the trucking companies that are out there have 6 trucks or less, right? So with that data, that means that the 10% control the majority of the freight in the country. However, a lot of those mega carriers that control that freight do broker off a lot of that freight, and that's where you have like load boards and brokers come in, right? But the mega carriers really do control the majority of the freight in the country. So who is really suffering from the truck driver shortage? Well, it is everybody. It is the country. But to me, it's the mega carriers that are struggling with hiring drivers and retaining drivers. So it's not necessarily just not enough drivers to hire, it's the retention of drivers. It's getting good drivers and keeping them. That's really the problem to me, because there's plenty of truck drivers out there. Yes, we may have a little bit of a shortage, but I personally believe there's plenty of drivers. There's just not enough retention at companies. The companies that have the highest retention rates are good companies, and that's where the problem lies with hiring drivers. There's not enough good, positive information on the trucking industry. That's why I created my channel, because I wanted to give out good, positive information on the trucking industry and kind of promote the opportunities that there are in this industry. And I do think that the mega carriers and a lot of mid-sized carriers, the ones that we know about, they do not do a good enough job of telling people or recruiting people into the industry and actually giving them that long-term view of the industry, like what they can do to become successful. Not just drive a truck and work for them, but how to become successful, how to invest, how to really change your life financially. Because I have come to realize that this business, you can do that with the right mindset and the right attitude and the willingness to just learn. You can become really successful financially in the trucking industry. And I know that to be true, but these big companies, they don't really promote that well enough. And that's just my opinion. And that's why you're not recruiting smart people into the trucking industry. Now, there's a lot of smart people coming in, but you're recruiting a lot of people that just don't have the right success mindset. And because you're not really explaining to people like, hey, here's all the different opportunities that you have in this industry to really change your life. And I think that's a big reason. That's my personal belief. That is the biggest reason why we are suffering from a truck driver shortage, or really a truck driver retention rate. right? Because most of these companies, dude, their turnover rate's like 90 something percent a year. So it's just a revolving door of drivers. And we all know, anybody who's in this industry or knows about the industry, we know that it's really the mega carriers that are having this problem, because mid-sized companies that pay their drivers well, that have good benefits, that really treat their drivers like human beings and not just a number on a board, those companies aren't struggling with hiring drivers as much or retaining drivers as much as these mega carriers. Now, some of the mega carriers are really good. It just depends which ones you go to. A lot of the mid-sized carriers, same thing. Like in trucking, there is no one size fits all. There is no, oh, this company's better than that company. Everybody's situation is different in the trucking industry. However, I just personally think there's not enough positive information on trucking, and a lot of people's approach to the business long term isn't the right approach. That's what I personally think. And I think if you want to fix the so-called truck driver shortage, you need to do a better job of explaining the opportunities that are out there in the business, right? That's what I think. And just long story short, I just wanted to make a video about this because, I really firmly believe that, yeah, we have a little bit of a driver shortage. I mean, it's just supply demand. The demand is so high to move freight, and there's not enough drivers to cover that freight in time. So that's what gives you the truck driver shortage. However, who controls that freight? It's the mega carriers that control the freight, right? We all know that. They control 90% of the freight. So they need drivers to move that freight for them. And personally, I think, well, your programs aren't very good. Yeah, you do train new drivers and get them their CDLs, get them their CDL, but when they get their CDL and they get that experience, do you pay them good money after a year? Like, I don't think really, I think people should have to earn that higher wage. I absolutely believe that. I think in your first year of truck driving, now there are exceptions, but for the most part, anybody's first year in this industry, it's your learning year, right? So take whatever the company gives you just to learn and get your experience. But after 1 year and you're a safe driver with a clean record and you're doing all the things that you need to do, and you're efficient and reliable and all the things we know that makes up a good truck driver. If you're doing those things and you have a year of experience or more, those companies really do, if they want to keep you and not have you jump from their company to a mid-sized to smaller carrier, then they need to really up your pay after that year. They really need to make you like, hey, the carrot and the stick, right? Say you're making 45 cents a mile your first year, right out of school, right out of training. But then after that first year, you jump up to 55 cents or 6, whatever the number is that is a good rate, right? They really need to give you that incentive to push through for a whole year and to stay there after that year is up. Because what these newer drivers are doing, they're going through these big companies, they're going through the school just to get their license, get their training, get their experience. And once that year mark hits, they're leaving. They're going to mid-size and smaller carriers because they pay them what they're worth after having a year of experience. I really believe it's on the companies to pay the drivers more. That's what I think. After that year. Now, in the first year, I don't think anybody should be complaining that much about what they're getting paid, because they're literally paying you to learn, right? But I really believe after that first year, dude, you need to raise the pay for 1 year experienced drivers or more with clean and safe records, right? If they're a good driver, you want to keep them, raise the pay. That's the answer. And we all know that. Every driver that has any experience at all. Now, I'm only 3 years into trucking. This will be my 4th year that I'm on right now. And I do know that, like, the training, well, in training, if you're going to be a trainer, and I am a trainer now, right? I'm telling my student not only just how to do the job safely, right? I'm teaching him how to do the job, right? But I'm also teaching him about all the different opportunities that there are if he sees this through, why he shouldn't give up, right? Because it is really hard in trucking. your first 6 months to a year. That's the hardest part about learning how to do the actual job. But after you do that and you get your experience, then it's like, okay, where do I go from here after I've got that experience? And if you're with a company that isn't matching, after a year, isn't matching the pay of this smaller or mid-sized carrier, right? This other company, that driver's going to go. And that's your problem, is driver retention. Not really driver shortage, not enough drivers to hire. There's enough drivers in the pool of drivers. It's that you're not retaining them because after a year, they don't want to make that crappy wage anymore. They're going to go find a better opportunity. That's what's happening, right? And they're not just doing that to company drivers. They're not paying their lease drivers enough. They're not paying owner operators enough. So that's the problem. And I'm not complaining about how they do it. They're doing what they do, right? I don't control these companies, but that's my opinion, is you need to retain drivers. You need to work on driver retention, not just enough drivers to hire. No, that's not what you should be focused on. And the training needs to be better. There's companies that are letting drivers train other new drivers, student drivers, after just 3 months to 6 months of experience. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're producing terrible future truck drivers. I know that these companies are hurting for drivers. They are. But your problem is, after that year of experience, you're not retaining them because why? The pay's not good enough. It's just not. It's not good enough. So why would they stay with you? You got to give people incentive to want to stay somewhere. I have to have that incentive. This company I'm at now, they're a good company. They're great. But if I found a much better opportunity, I'm going to think like a business person. Even though I'm a company driver, I'm a business person driving a truck. I need to think about what's better for me and my family. If there's a better opportunity with a smaller company, you're going to lose me to them. So that's just the way it is. And I do want to end this video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. There'll be more content like this in the future. But before I go, that leaves me to my last point, right? I really think, like I said, it's important to understand how much these companies need us. They need us. They're not going to automate this job. You're not going to automate it. Not in the real world practical sense. You're not going to automate this job. They need us more than ever. So if you're somebody looking at the trucking industry as a possible career choice, there's no time than now. Like, there's no time better than now to get in. If you're new and you're in your first 6 months to a year or whatever, wait it out. Get your experience, because after that 1 year of experience, the sky is the limit in this industry. The sky's the limit. You're going to have opportunities presented to you that it'll change your life. It'll change your family's life. We are in such high demand right now. Let's take advantage of that as truck drivers. That's what I firmly believe. Take advantage of it. Don't sit there and think anymore about whether you should get into this industry. If this is a career choice that you're strongly considering, dude, no better time than now to get in. You need to get in now. That's what I personally think. So look at the truck driver shortage as an opportunity as a driver, from a driver's perspective, and not as a problem, right? Because what makes great entrepreneurs, what makes great business people, what makes great athletes, whatever, they solve problems. So if you become a problem solver, which is, hey, there's a high demand to fulfill in the trucking industry, that's where I need to go. Because I'm going to be able to demand more pay with experience, because I'm doing something that is in such high demand right now that the pay is only going to go up over time. If the driver shortage gets worse and worse and worse, our pay is going to go up and up and up over time. That's the way supply and demand works. So I just wanted to talk about that, give my perspective on the truck driver shortage and what I think about it. And hey, if you have a different opinion than me, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Maybe people disagree with me on some of the points I made. That's fine. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. But those are my opinions. They're not fact. They're my opinions. So if you do agree with me, hey, also leave a comment in the comment section below. But I really appreciate you for clicking on my video. And I would really appreciate it, once again, if you would subscribe to the channel and check out some more of my other videos that are about to pop up. All right? God bless. Have a great day. Peace out.